Okay guys, so I actually did a video earlier today, and unfortunately I had to go to dinner, so I had to end it, but right after I ended it, I found out that it didn't actually record anything, which is a little bit embarrassing, but whatever. So, I'm just going to do this really quick. I'm going to show you what I did, and then we're going to do a couple of steps, kind of further the project along a little bit, and then we're going to finish it up tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. With that being said, this is actually going to be the Dwarven Archway. This is the concept for it. What I did was I took one of the pillars that I've done previously, which has a single texture as the actual file type, and I took just a basic screenshot, and I deleted all of the background, the grid background from Blender, and then uploaded the image to Blender, and I used all of the curve tools. This is actually how I start most of my models when I'm thinking of them. Just kind of gives me an idea of the basic shape. But I went ahead and I added the top part of the pillar here, and then I built this on top of it according to the background picture, which if we go over here, I'm actually going to turn off the view on the model itself. We can see the picture in the background, and open that back up. And the reason why I have all of these selected is because if you notice, this is a little bit wider than I want it. So we're just going to go over here, and we're going to flatten it out. I'm going to do the same thing with the back now. Actually, that's not true. What I'm going to do, I'm going to actually delete the background entirely, or the back part here. The reason why I'm doing this, I'm going to use a mirror modifier, which I will show you momentarily. Get rid of that. So we actually don't have anything on the back now, it's just hollow. We're going to go ahead and add the mirror modifier now. There it is. I don't know why I couldn't find that. Alright, X, clipping, and now we're going to make sure that it is centered. A, grab, A, grab. And there we go. Piece of cake. So now that we have that taken care of, we're going to go ahead, we're going to finish this part over here, and then what I want to do is I want to add an edge, which is, if you'll notice, that's why this is still flat right here, and even though we can very clearly see the point here. And really, all we're going to do with that is just grab that center point there, grab, and pull forward. And there we go. Yeah, it looks about right. Scale on the z-axis. Alright. Drag this upward. Now, I'm not actually going to rotate this one too much. Okay. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the individual vertices and go from there. Because ultimately, this is going to come out over here now. This is going to come this way. So we're going to have 2 points here, and then we're going to drag down those 2 points. Keep saying we. I mean me. I'm going to do that. Scale Z. X. So I just got done watching Ender's Game for the first time with my wife. I haven't quite figured out what she thought of it yet. I wasn't too happy with the ending. Then again, I read Ender's Game. The rest of the book was... I want to say that the book itself was very well portrayed in the movie, but I'm kind of a stickler for certain things. If you don't have a reason to change it, don't change it. Don't mess with a good thing. You based it off of something for a reason. That's just my personal opinion. Alright, drag you forward, pull up, and drag you over here, and up. Alright. Now, I'm not too big of a fan of this being so far out, but I'm going to move on. I'm going to get this taken care of and then we'll handle this part. So extrude, rotate, flatten it out, grab X. Scale X, extrude, grab X, scale X. Now the idea to this side is that it's kind of supposed to come down just a little bit. Scale X. And now we're just going to drag over. I really do need to deal with how touchy this mouse is. Alright, go back to the front end. Alright, now we're going to deal with this. So, here's how we're going to do it. W, subdivide. This is, we're going to go over to edge, X, dissolve edges, vertex, X, dissolve vertices, there it is. Now we're going to do the same thing over here. W, subdivide 1. You're unnecessary, you're unnecessary, you're unnecessary. Whoop. X. Dissolve vertices. And whoops. Got rid of the one that I wanted. There we go. Go to face, Z. Select that. Whoop. Only faces. Back over vertex, and we're just going to add the face back in. The reason why we want that face there, but not the other face, or the why we need these extra vertices here, is just for the shaping. To be honest, I really do kind of try to minimize the number of vertices that I work with, because I have a bad tendency of getting in my way later on And I really do try to get... It's going to have to be as close as she gets. Actually, do this a little better. There we go. Doesn't quite have the curve that I'm looking for. But now it will. There we go. Not too shabby. Now, you see what's happening there is we're actually getting a phantom face from here to here. Because it's trying to connect this odd angle that we have here that we don't want. So we fix that by dragging this up and over. Problem solved. Now, I mentioned in the last video that this is where the real tweaking kind of begins on any project. Is when you actually get it into practice. Maybe it doesn't quite sit right, or maybe it doesn't just sit the way you need it to. So you end up having to tweak the vertices around a little bit. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Alright, so now we have that fun center line, and we have a whole lot of vertices that are selected that we really don't need selected. Okay. So alright, fine. You want to be that way? Normally this trick works, where you just get rid of some of the vertices in the line. You can select or deselect the line that you don't need, but it wants to be a pain in the ass. So, alright, now we're going to scale X. Well, that trick's not going to work this time. So we're going to have to do a manual drag. Gotta love it. It's not what I told you to do. Well, talk about riding the mirror's edge. We just wanted the top. It's not normal for this to kind of go through the mirror. I'm not used to it doing that. Usually it just lets me do what I was going to do before, but it wants to be a pain, so we're going to do this the old-fashioned way. anything else selected that shouldn't be? Okay, good. Alright, so we're going to turn on our magnet. We're going to zoom in a bit. 3, 4. Scale X. Drag up. Much better. Okay, so now we've kind of detoured from our previous path. Is okay. We do have to thin this out a bit, though. Okay. Alright. We'll get to that part in a minute. Pull you out just a skosh more. So really all I'm doing right now is I'm just shaping. Getting it to kind of look the way I want it to. Kind of going for a smoother finish of sorts. Better. Okay. The reason why I did that is that's all really just got to get straightened out at the same time. We want very flat edges along the outside. After all, what kind of dwarves would these be if they couldn't shape some stone, right? There we go. Sorry, I get really silent when I'm concentrating. And we're just going to make sure that we are... Yes, we are. We are recording. Fantastic. At least it appears that we're recording. I guess I'll find out in a minute, won't I? I know we haven't done any of the shaping over here yet, but bear with me. We are going to finish this up, and tomorrow we're going to do the single texture. Alright. Scale-wise 0. Scale-wise 0 just flattens it on the y-axis, which basically means when from the side view, the line is flat. If I were to scale it on the x-axis, it becomes flat this way, and if I scale it on the z-axis, it becomes horizontal. It's just a way to make nice clean lines. Alright, so U2 is all faces, because I don't need more than one face there. Don't need more than one face there. And don't need more than one face there. You can, however, get rid of those vertices, because those are unnecessary. Now you are in the wrong place, sir. Get out. We want that edge. We want this to come up a little bit. So I mentioned before that these aren't our traditional dwarves. I would love to get more detail into that, other than the obvious Asian motif instead of the Nordic motif that you're used to seeing. And the reason why I kind of wanted to go that route is when I think of dwarves, I think of the world's best forgers, and I think I might have, or the world's best blacksmiths, the world's best stone cutters. And when I try to think of something like similar to that in the real world, I think of the Japanese katana, I think of the stonesmiths of Asia. These are the things that come to my mind. So, in a way, I am kind of trying to go with a more realistic approach, I suppose. We do have elves, we have dwarves, clearly. And if, you can't have an MMO without humans, but I feel the same way about dwarves and elves. And when you think about the elves, one might wonder what I'm going to do with them. I haven't really... I have decided what it is I'm going to do with them and how I'm going to do the humans. I'm thinking of a more traditional approach there, but in all reality, I'm really not going to go too much into their starting area just yet. I might even show you guys the starting area if we have enough subscriptions and enough likes for me to warrant doing these videos for them. The reason why I say if there's enough to warrant them, there's a lot that goes into doing one of these. Making sure that the video software is recorded, redoing the videos if they mess up. For example, the last video I recorded audio, but I didn't record any video, and for the life of me, I'm still trying to figure that one out. That's why before, if you notice, I did check this to make sure that we are getting video. This is our video software. It is free. And it does say non-commercial home use. So it is good software, though, I'm not going to lie. It's actually better than the software I was using before. The software I was using before was nothing but issues. Huh? That's something I was having a problem with before. I actually had to scale down the original pillar that I had, and that was a little frustrating in and of itself, just because the camera angle seems to have taken a liking to where it was before, if that makes any sense. There we go, much better. Okay. Now we can pull out that bottom one, because that was a funny angle for me to try to do that out. So this video is going to be fairly short. One, because the video that I did earlier was me drawing the base shape of the arch, if you will. And the whole point of this is going to be a very decorative arch. We're going to have our walkway here, and then we'll have one here and one here. In fact, I'll actually show you kind of what I have planned. So, you can actually pull that free of the background image now, because it's really no longer needed. And now we will duplicate, in a sense. And that's the concept. So we can see kind of how pretty this design is. We're going to get rid of this background image now because it's really not necessary. I'm really curious as to what it is my wife is laughing at in the living room. I promise I will wait, though. I will be good. So, again, this being said, I'm going to rotate this now and slide this back a little bit just so we get a little bit more of that edge in there. And excellent. We're going to get rid of that again because it's distracting me. I'm so curious what she's laughing at. I don't know if you guys can hear her on the camera or not, or on the recording, but I swear she's laughing like a hyena out there, so I'm really curious as to what it is that's so funny. My ADD hard at work. Alright. Let's flatten this baby out a little bit. Grab one. Look, too thin. Too thick. There is a happy medium in here. Come on. There we go. And there she is. One 3D modeled archway. Let's go over here to the texture. Let's see what happened. So now we have a stretched, and this is really just to kind of get a general idea. This white section here is because it's completely untextured right there. But we're going to retexture that in Photoshop tomorrow, actually. Hopefully before I have to be at work. I'm just going to drag this one down and out of the way. This is a part of the creative process of mine as well, where I'll go into the actual texture pattern and see how it looks. Alright, base. And what I'm doing now is I'm just combining these together. For example, this is necessary, so we're going to leave this face here, or these two faces here, or we're going to combine these here. We're going to combine these here, but we're going to combine these two so that we just have a simple three-face process here. There. Sorry, I get a little touchy about certain things when I'm in this creative phase. There it is. And there we go. That looks much cleaner. There's also a handy little tool called the Edge Slide tool. I personally am not a huge user of it because you actually have to select a whole edge. You can't just slide a vertices along willy-nilly. Yes, I said willy-nilly. Raised in an old-fashioned type of way. My parents are from a different generation, if you will. Just waiting for my mother to comment on that now. What do you mean from a different generation? Alright, so now we just make some minor corrections over here. Now, I mentioned before that when I think of stonesmiths and I think of blacksmiths, I think of the Asian nations. That may or may not raise the question as to whether or not I plan on doing gigantic statues. I haven't really decided that yet. I might. I know that we're going to have a large set of ruins. Where, I'm not going to tell you. You'll have to find them on your own. That would be cheating. I know it's nice to get spoilers from a developer every now and again, but I don't play that way. I like it when people find things on their own, and every now and again I'll spoil something, but only if it's just too good not to share. But you'll see what I'm talking about. Alright. And there she is, folks. And these are really, again, I don't know if I mentioned this yet in this video. I know I did in the last video. This is really just a decorative archway. This is just for walkways. I may, or there's a Zen garden that I have planned for the Dwarven area that you will get to see. But for the most part, I don't plan on showing a whole lot. Just the Dwarven area. But this will be in most of the outside areas along the walkways, and we will be duplicating the living crap out of this. So tomorrow, we're going to make this. You unwrap. And we're going to make it fit in there. Probably something along those lines. And now you see why I like to not deal with as many vertices. Come on. So we're just going to scooch this over. But this is all the vertices. From, I don't know why I'm pointing with my finger. From this area over here, every vertices over here is now over here. Fun, right? Yeah. So anyway, folks, have a wonderful evening. I'm going to try and get this uploaded tonight, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.